Today I want to dive into something that's been on my mind since I got my hands on a OneXPlayer X1. Now, this device has some crazy specs on paper, right? I mean, a 10.95-inch display that's almost OLED level vibrant, 32 gigs of RAM, it has 120Hz refresh rate, Oculink support for eGPUs, a detachable keyboard, and it's like the ultimate spec sheet for a handheld. So with all this power, okay, how come I don't see more people jumping to get this device? And look, I get it. At first I thought maybe it's the price, but after nearly a month of using it, I don't think that's the only thing. I've got some few thoughts on why I think the OneXPlayer X1 might not be, popular in the West as it could be. Spoiler alert, I think it's because this device isn't designed with a Western audience in mind. Let me explain. So have you ever had something that feels like it checks all the boxes, but somehow something just feels off? And that's the vibe I've been getting with the OneXPlayer X1. And don't get me wrong, this device is impressive. It's got the performance, the battery life, and potential for killer eGPU setup, but something about it just doesn't click as a handheld gaming device, at least from a Western perspective. Now, when you think about gaming handhelds, one of the first things that come to mind is comfort, right? You see, the whole point of a handheld is that you can take it anywhere and game comfortably for hours. And that's one of the reasons why devices like the Steam Deck OLED, for example, have such a dedicated fan base. It just feels right in your hands. But with the OneXPlayer X1, the experience isn't quite there. Using it honestly feels like holding a tablet with a gaming controller tacked on than an actual handheld device. Sure, the display is big and vibrant, and of course the sound quality is solid, but the overall form factor doesn't scream handheld. Now let's talk about the controllers for a bit, because this is where things I think is going to start to make sense. It feels like the OneXPlayer team put all their resources into the main unit, but didn't give the same attention to the controllers. Honestly, each time I use them, they feel like an afterthought, almost like they were designed in a hurry just to make the device fit into the handheld category. In fact, I would go as far as to say it feels like this device wasn't initially planned as a handheld. Maybe the original idea was something more like the ASUS ROG Flow Z13, a gaming tablet laptop hybrid, but as handheld started gaining traction, it feels like the OneXPlayer X1 was kind of reworked to join the handheld gaming market, and that's where compromises started to happen. One thing that you're going to notice with the X1's controller is that they had to be made smaller, likely to avoid blocking ports or interfering with the device's functionality as a laptop or tablet. But this compromise means the controllers end up feeling undersized and not quite right for long gaming sessions. For someone who's used to bigger, more ergonomic controllers on devices like the Legion Go or the Ally X, the OneXPlayer X's controller just feels off. It's like they try to balance controller size without blocking the ports, but in the process, the controllers lost that ergonomic edge. They are usable, but they don't have that comfort that Western gamers expect in a handheld, and I can see how that's a deal breaker for a lot of people. The weight also is another big factor here. If you've never held the OneXPlayer X1, let me tell you, it's the heaviest handheld that I've used, and for good reasons. It's essentially a gaming tablet that doubles as a laptop, so the build has to support both modes. If you're using it in dock mode with a monitor and external controllers, then you're golden, but as soon as you start using it as a handheld, that weight becomes a challenge. It's just not comfortable for long sessions. That's what I'm trying to say. And if you're looking for a gaming laptop experience, you might be better off with something like the ASUS ROG Z13. The X1 has the power, but as a handheld, it just doesn't feel practical. So after all of this, I think the main reason why the OneXPlayer X1 isn't seeing the same enthusiasm as other handheld is that it just doesn't feel like a handheld designed for the West. Comfort is a big deal for gamers here, so the ergonomic design has to be spot on, and that's just not something the X1 has at the moment. In comparison, devices like the Ally X have gone through design tweaks to hit that ergonomic sweet spot, and that's why the Ally X is getting more attention. It feels right, and I don't think it's a failure on OneXPlayer's part. They've made a top-notch device, but the design choices just don't line up with what handheld gamers in the West are looking for. In the end, the OneXPlayer X1 is still an incredible piece of tech. The AMD version especially packs a punch in terms of performance. If the weight, the controller size, and ergonomic aren't issues for you, then this device honestly has insane potential. But if you're looking for a true handheld experience with comfort at the forefront, it might not be the best fit for you. Anyway, that's been my take on the X1 so far. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this breakdown, and subscribe if you want to see more deep dives like this. And of course, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you think ergonomics are a deal breaker for handhelds? Let's discuss about that. Once again guys, my name is Samson, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.